we have to remember that it takes a ton of time of somebody seeing your company, before they're warmed up enough to take action. What is up, everybody? Loris here, founder of Care Intelligence. Welcome to another video where I'm going to break down tips, tricks, strategies to help trucking companies recruit and retain more effectively by using disruptive methods. Okay, now one thing I'm going to talk about, I think it's often overlooked, but is of the utmost importance, is response time, and how you can better position your company to get more drivers in by focusing on that beginning of the journey, which is establishing contact. It is baffling whenever we go to market, we talk to trucking companies, how often the carriers have a subpar response time. I'm talking about days, hours and hours and hours, sometimes days, for a recruiter to actually hop on a phone call, try to establish contact with a driver that had submitted some kind of information to that company. It could be an Indeed ad, could be a Facebook ad or an Intelli app or app through your website, what have you. The point is speed is the name of the game. You have to think about it from a driver standpoint, more specifically a good driver standpoint. And those really good drivers, those highly qualified drivers, here's the truth of it. They are not unemployed. They are already working somewhere else. Those really good drivers have a job. When that person that applied, you don't know if that's going to be a good driver or a less desirable driver until you get a chance to speak to them on the phone. Well, here's the thing. You have to speak with them on the phone to know if they are a good driver or not. So you need to treat every potential lead like it could be a fantastic driver that's going to be with your companies for years to come. And that's where a lot of companies go wrong, is they don't do that. They oftentimes just assume that, hey, well, I missed this lead. It's been 4 hours. I got so busy my day, I couldn't reach out to him. I'll hit him up tomorrow. Or, well, I'm just so slammed right now. I don't have to worry about this one because we have 10 more leads coming later today. The point is 9 of those other 10 leads that come in today may not be that good, right? We don't know. So we have to treat every lead with the utmost importance and think about it that this is the lifeblood of a trucking company, and trucking companies simply don't exist without a driver in those seats. So speed when it comes to response time. What are like the KPIs, those key performance metrics that you should be following? Honestly, we say a 15-minute window max on first initial contact, okay? So a driver comes in as a lead, however that may be, through your website, etc. Your recruiting team really should be reaching out within 15 minutes. Like, that is stretching it. If I had it my way, I would say, 1 minute, but I know that's not realistic. 15 minutes max, a recruiter needs to be reaching out to the driver. Now, driver may not answer. No surprise there. It's been 15 minutes since he applied. He probably is already back on the road, or he's done fueling up. He's done at his rest stop. He's on the phone call with his dispatcher, what have you. So if that driver doesn't answer, what should you do? Well, we would recommend is, of course, sending a text message. Drivers don't interact with email so much. We don't even think you need to necessarily have an email nurture campaign. Focusing on text messaging and picking up the phone call are usually the two things that you need to do, and that is it. So reaching out first in 10 to 15 minutes max. From there, if the driver does not answer, send a text message introducing yourself and referencing their name. We don't want to just do a plain copy-paste text message. We know it's easy, but, formalize it a little bit. At least say, hey, John, and then below that, you can copy-paste your message with your link to your full application, okay? Ideally, you would like to propose a few other follow-ups times, right, that work well for the driver. So, hey, John, it's Bill over at ABC Trucking. Tried reaching out to you, couldn't connect. When are 3 potential times work for you? And you give 3 options. Option 1 is 2 p.m. today. Option 2 is 3 p.m. tomorrow, etc. Make the path with as least friction as possible to increase the chance of that driver actually following up with you, okay? Now, what we would recommend is after making the first phone call, they do not reply, send that first text message, wait a minute, and call again. By this point, they probably read your text message. They're gonna be more likely to answer, all right? If at that point they don't answer, leave a voicemail, proceed to follow up later that day. If it's in the morning, if the driver replies day of, right, in the morning, follow up later that afternoon as well, okay? So realistically, you should have 3 touch points day one: a phone call minimum, a text message minimum, a follow-up phone call minimum. Those 3. Now, if that all happened in the morning, you can turn around and do the same thing in the evening as well, okay? But if that lead came in the afternoon, you can still hit them up 3 times, no problem. Day 2, same thing, okay? You're gonna reach out in the morning, reach out in the afternoon, and send a text message. So 3 follow-up attempts. Do that for 7 days. Every day, follow up 3 times per day. Text message, phone call, phone call. You will have a better chance of connecting with those drivers. And if after 7 days they are ghosting you, you never connect with them, it doesn't mean that they're a bad lead. It doesn't mean that they're not interested, because really when somebody's interested, they'll tell you to stop, right? That's the truth of it. If they are not interested, they'll tell you to stop. And truthfully, they did go out and apply somehow. They submit their information, so they are interested. They're waiting for the right time. So at this point, you really should put them into a longer term nurture sequence. We would recommend doing nurture via SMS text messages. Again, make sure you're compliant with all the laws and regulations with the FCC when it comes to text messaging. You have to be able to have the drivers opt in to text message appropriately. But assuming you do all that correctly, and if you start automating text messaging, that can be a great long-term strategy to getting drivers to come in when the time is right. We have to remember that it takes a ton of time of somebody seeing you, your company, before they're warmed up enough to take action. You reached out 3 times a day for 7 days, that's 21 touch points. Now you start sending them tailored, dripped SMS text messages on a minimum weekly basis, all through automation, of course, if you have the capabilities to do it. And if you have to do it manually, you can do that as well. But you do that, you're going to have drivers trickle in. And then on those automated nurture text messages, you need to provide value. You're not just saying, hey, John, it's Bill at ABC Trucking, can we talk? No, you need to essentially knock down roadblocks and reservations these drivers are having. So you first send them an automated text message. 7 days later, goes, hey, Bill, thought you may like this. Here's a link to our video where we talk about our equipment. You're gonna love it, check it out. It's a link to your YouTube channel, your Facebook page that has a video giving a tour of your truck. Okay, wow, maybe that driver resonates with that. He starts thinking, geez, that's a nice truck. I wish I was in that. A few days later, another video comes in. Bill, thought you'd love this. Here's a recent testimonial from one of our drivers who's been with us for 5 years. Check out Tom's interview. And then it's a video with a driver testimonial video. You keep doing this time over time again, bringing in value, then talk about your USP, your company's unique selling proposition, what it is that makes you unique in the marketplace. You will get more drivers in, I promise you, okay? So hope that was helpful. Reach out, any questions, we are always available, carrierintelligence.com. Otherwise, see you on the next one.